Guys, when I tell you my life was peaceful 48 hours ago, peaceful, broke, I want to be very clear with you. I am a smart woman. I have survived retail, unpaid bills, bad dates, group projects, and a manager named Chad. I do not make reckless decisions. Except for that one Tuesday night when I accidentally sent a thirst trap to the most dangerous woman in Blackthorne City, and then texted back. 48 hours ago, my biggest problem was rent. That was it. Rent, a rude manager, and the fact that my fridge contained 1 lemon, ketchup, and broken promises. Life was hard, but it was peaceful. Now, there were 3 armed men outside my apartment asking for me by my full government name. So yes, mistakes were made. My name is Tamara Kent, but everybody calls me Tammy. I was 24, broke in a stylish way, and living in a tiny apartment in Westbridge, where the walls were so thin I knew my neighbor's relationship timeline better than he did. I worked at a beauty store downtown called Halo Beauty Supply, where customers yelled at me like I personally invented inflation. Why is this serum $90? Ma'am, why is rent high? Why are eggs expensive? Why are you yelling at lashes? By the time I got home that night, my feet hurt, my edges were emotional, and I was one inconvenience away from becoming a minimalist. I dropped my bag and found Jay already in my apartment. Again, he was on my bed eating my chips like a man protected by friendship. You look tragic, he said. You look unemployed, I replied. He smiled, healing. You still have jokes. Jay was the kind of best friend who loved me deeply and caused problems recreationally. He looked around my apartment slowly. This place looks like a warning sign. It has charm. It has trauma. I threw a sock at him. He caught it. Then he pointed at the unpaid notice on my counter. You need money. I know you need romance. I need money. Same ecosystem. He grabbed my phone. We're making you a dating profile. No, yes, no, yes. Tamara Kent, this is your season. My season of what? Pretty privilege. 10 minutes later, against my will, I was on a dating app surrounded by nonsense. We started scrolling profiles together. One man was holding a fish. Another had 6 photos, and all 6 looked angry. One woman's bio said, "If you can't handle honesty, leave now." Jay whispered, "She definitely has indoor plants and emotional standards." I swiped left immediately. Then Jay stood up and pointed toward my bathroom. Come on, where? Content. I hate that word. Bathroom lighting in this apartment is criminally good. That part, unfortunately, was true. My bathroom had one thing going for it, lighting that made poor choices look cinematic. Jay followed me to the doorway, then crossed his arms like a director. Freshen up. This is humiliating. This is necessary. I fixed my hair, added lip gloss, adjusted the straps of my fitted tank top, looked in the mirror, then looked again. Okay, respectfully, I looked good. Not regular good. The kind of good that makes you forgive your own behavior. Jay gasped dramatically. Oh, she's back. Who? That girl from 2022 who knew she was fine. I laughed, then held up my phone. The mirror reflected soft light, bare shoulder, glossy lips, waist sitting correctly, face saying I may be broke, but I rejected spiritually. I took one photo, then another, then one more. The third one, dangerous. Even I had to pause. Save that immediately, Jay said. I know. I meant to save it to my hidden folder. For confidence emergencies. Instead, tired fingers tapped the wrong thing. Share. Recent contact. Unsaved number. Sent. I froze. Jay froze. We both stared at my phone like it had committed treason. What did you just do? He whispered. I don't know. Who is that? I don't know. The profile picture was solid black. No name. No photo. No bio. Just a number and unsettling energy. I rushed to delete the message. Too late. Seen. My soul left my body, looked around, and decided to wait outside. Then the typing bubble appeared. Stopped. Appeared again. Stopped. This person was dramatic. Finally, a message came through. Sexy. Jay screamed. I screamed louder. Another message arrived. What exactly were you trying to prove with that picture? I stared. Then another. Because if the goal was distraction, congratulations. I looked at Jay. Jay looked at me. Then he whispered, Tammy, keep texting. I should block them. You should gather information. This is how documentaries start. Another message came through. Delete the app. I'll handle your problems personally. I blinked. Excuse me? Jay grabbed my shoulders. Oh, this is rich confidence. How do you know they're rich? No broke person texts like that. Another message. Did you eat dinner? I frowned. This stalker is nurturing. Against wisdom, instinct, and common sense, I typed back. Wrong person. The answer came immediately. I disagree. I stared at the screen, then typed, Who is this? Another instant reply, someone improving your week. I hated that I smiled. Jay saw it too. Oh, you're in danger. Shut up. Then another message came through. Check your email. I frowned and opened my inbox. There was a new notice from my landlord. Your rent deadline has been extended by 30 days. I looked at Jay. Jay looked at me. Then we both screamed. Nope, I said, blocking the number instantly. Absolutely not. This is rich witchcraft. I threw the phone onto the bed. Ate noodles. Pretended none of it happened. And went to sleep. The next morning at exactly 8:12 a.m., someone knocked on my door. Not regular knocking. Confident knocking. Knocking with excellent credit. I looked through the peephole. 3 men stood outside in black tailored suits. Tall, muscular. One slowly lifted his eyes toward the peephole. Then spoke. Tamara Kent, full government name. My knees weakened instantly. Jay sat up from the couch where he had fallen asleep. What happened? I pointed at the door. There are elegant assassins outside. He rushed over, looked through the peephole, then whispered, Oh wow, another knock. Miss Kent, the man said calmly. Our employer is waiting. I moved to the window and peeked downstairs. A black SUV sat at the curb, tinted windows, engine running. Then the back window lowered slightly. A woman sat inside, dark hair, sharp cheekbones, cold eyes. The kind of face that could ruin your life and still get invited everywhere. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened it. You're shorter than I expected. Come downstairs. I stared at the message, then at the car, then at my reflection. Jay placed a hand on my shoulder. Wear something cute, he whispered, and that was how my problems officially began. I considered pretending I wasn't home. It was a strong plan, a smart plan, a survival-based plan. Unfortunately, one of the men outside my door knocked again with the patience of someone who knew he had all day. Miss Kent, he said calmly. Please don't make this difficult. I looked at Jay. Jay looked at me. Then he said, If I die because of your love life, I'm haunting you. This is not my love life, I whispered. This is organized crime. Another knock. I swallowed hard, unlocked the door, and opened it 2 inches. Up close, the men were somehow worse. All 3 wore black tailored suits that probably cost more than my rent. Their body and build was flawless. Their posture was military level. Their expressions said they had never laughed a day in their lives. The tallest one gave me a brief glance. Tamara Kent? I hated hearing my full name from strangers. It always felt expensive. Yes, our employer is waiting downstairs. Cool, I said. Tell your employer I'm busy forever. He blinked once. Behind me, Jay coughed to hide a laugh. The man continued like I hadn't spoken. She dislikes waiting. Well, I dislike being summoned. Another man handed me a garment bag. I stared at it. What is that? Something suitable, he replied. I looked down at my oversized t-shirt, pajama shorts, and 1 sock. Rude. I'm not changing for a stranger. The tallest man's eyes moved over my shoulder to Jay. And the gentleman? Jay straightened. Best friend. Emotional support. He nodded once. He may come, Jay gasped. I'm invited? No, I said immediately. You're not. Yes, I am, he said, already fixing his hair. 5 minutes later, I was in jeans, boots, and a cream sweater from the garment bag that fit me like somebody had stolen my measurements. That was not comforting. I walked downstairs between two bodyguards like a celebrity being arrested. Outside, the black SUV waited at the curb, engine humming softly. The city moved around it like it knew better than to interfere. One of the men opened the back door. Warm leather, soft lighting, silence, and her. Valentina Moretti sat inside like she'd been carved there. Dark hair pulled back neatly, black coat, gold watch, legs crossed, one hand resting on her knee, the kind of beautiful that made you angry because now you had to process it. She looked up slowly. Her eyes moved over me once. Then she said, "I was right. About what? You are shorter than I expected." I stared at her. "Ma'am, your kidnappers are standing outside and you're insulting my height?" So, something shifted near her mouth. The possibility of one. "Get in, Tammy." The fact that she knew my nickname nearly sent me back upstairs. "I'm good here." "You're cold?" "I'm suspicious." "You can be both inside." Jay leaned toward me and whispered, "If you don't get in that car, I will..." "Traitor." I got in. The door closed softly behind me. Immediately, the SUV started moving. I sat rigidly, clutching my bag like it contained legal rights. Valentina glanced at me, then reached forward and tapped the divider once. The glass slid up, separating us from the driver. Now it was just me and Rich Danger. "Fantastic. Relax," she said. "Nobody says relax before relaxing you. I am relaxed. You're gripping your purse like it owes you money. It kind of does." That almost smile appeared again. She looked out the window. "You're funnier in person. You're weirder in person." Also true. I studied her carefully. She wore no flashy jewelry besides the watch. No loud perfume. No unnecessary movement. Everything about her was controlled. People like that were dangerous. So, I said, "Who are you?" "Valentina. Last name, Moretti." "That sounds expensive." "It usually is. And what exactly do you want from me, Valentina Moretti?" She turned her head and met my eyes fully for the first time. I forgot several things at once. "I wanted breakfast," she said, "and a conversation." "That's not what I asked." I know. I hated that she was good at this. We pulled up to a private entrance of a luxury hotel I had only seen in celebrity scandals. A doorman opened her door before the car fully stopped. When she stepped out, everyone nearby became slightly straighter. No one spoke unless spoken to. Interesting. Very interesting. Inside, we were escorted to a private dining room overlooking the city. I had never eaten in a room with this much glass. It felt like wealth liked natural light. The table was already set, coffee steaming, fruit arranged artistically, pastries lined up like they had degrees. I sat slowly. This is insane. It's breakfast. This is the kind of breakfast countries have. She sat across from me. Eat. I should have resisted. I did not. The croissant alone healed part of my childhood. She watched me take another bite. "You are hungry. Everyone is hungry. Inflation exists. You skip meals often." I froze. "How do you know that?" "You get headaches around noon and become irritable by 3. I lowered the pastry. "How do you know that?" "You complain in your search history." I nearly choked. "You look through my phone?" "No." "Then how? You narrate your feelings online." I thought back to my late night tweets. My soul left again. Jay texted me, "Are you alive?" I texted back under the table with a very hot threat. Valentina's voice cut through my panic. "Tell Jay you're safe." I looked up sharply. "You know Jay too?" "I know he steals from your refrigerator." That was one time Jay texted immediately, as if summoned by shame. I put my phone face down. "This is creepy. This is thorough. No, this is rich stalking. This is interest." Her tone never changed. Calm. Even. Like she had already decided panic was unnecessary. I took a sip of coffee. It was excellent. Annoying. "Okay," I said. "Let's pretend this is normal." "Why me?" She leaned back slightly. "Because you were honest." I sent a selfie. You sent it with no filter, bad lighting in the corner, chipped nail polish, and confidence. I blinked. That sounded rude. It was admiration. "Oh," she folded one hand over the other. "Most people perform. You did not. That might be the strangest compliment I've ever received." "There will be better ones." My heart did something unhelpful. I hated that. If you're enjoying this mess already, like and subscribe, because this was the calmest part of my week. I cleared my throat. Still didn't answer the real question. "And what question is that?" Why did 3 armed women come to my apartment over one selfie? She held my gaze for a long moment, then finally said, "Because some people have to be approached carefully." I laughed once. "You mean dramatically?" "That too." Her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at the screen. Something in the room changed. Not loudly, just enough. The air got colder. She typed one reply, then set the phone down. "What happened?" I asked. "Business? That sounds illegal." "It usually is." I stared at her. She reached for her coffee like we were discussing weather. No cap. That was the exact moment I realized 2 things. First, Valentina Moretti was not just rich. Second, I was in way deeper than I thought. No cap, I should have gone home after breakfast. That would have been the wise decision, the mature decision, the kind of decision people with instincts make. Instead, I sat in a luxury hotel eating imported strawberries while a woman who was either a billionaire, a criminal mastermind, or both watched me like I was a documentary she planned to fund. And if I'm being honest, I was curious. Curiosity has ruined better women than me. Valentina poured herself more coffee with one smooth motion. No wasted movement, no unnecessary words. Even the way she held the cup felt expensive. I looked around the private dining room again. Floor-to-ceiling windows, fresh flowers, silverware with confidence. Somewhere in the distance, a piano was playing softly. I had never been in a room where everything looked moisturized. "This place charges people for breathing, doesn't it?" I asked. She glanced at me. "Only tourists?" That was rude. It was accurate. I should have been offended. Instead, I laughed. Bad sign. Attractions start small. A laugh here, a stare there. Then suddenly you're making poor choices in nice lighting. I sat back in my chair. Okay, let's review. Yesterday I was poor in peace. Today I'm eating pastries with a mystery woman who knows my landlord's email address. You have to understand why I'm concerned. "You're dramatic," she said. "I'm realistic. You're both." That almost smile touched her mouth again. I wanted to see a full one. I also wanted common sense. Life is about balance. My phone buzzed. "Jay," I answered immediately. "Hello? Are you whispering because she's there?" he asked. "Yes. Put me on speaker." "Absolutely not. Is she hot in daylight?" I looked at Valentina. She was reading something on her phone, one hand resting against her jaw. Sharp cheekbones. Calm eyes. The kind of face artists would become annoying about. "Unfortunately," I said quietly. "Yes," Jay gasped. "Tammy, stand up. Walk around. Let me see if you're safe." "I'm hanging up. Ask if she has brothers." "She likes women." There was silence. Then Jay said, "Offended, so she's selfish too." I ended the call. Valentina looked up. "Jay is loud. You were listening? You're loud too." I hated that she was right. I checked the time and nearly choked. "Oh my God, what?" "I'm late for work?" She continued sipping coffee like time was optional. "No, you're not." "Yes, I am. Unlike you, some of us exchange labor for survival. You texted your manager this morning." I frowned. "No, I didn't. You did." "I absolutely did not." She tilted her phone toward me. There on my screen was a message I had apparently sent while half asleep. Running late. Subway drama. Be there soon. I stared. That was sent at 7-Eleven. You were asleep at 7-Eleven. I multitask. No cap. I was starting to understand why nations feared women like her. I stood quickly. "I need to go." She stood too. That should be illegal. Tall women already have enough advantages. Why add elegance? "I'll have you dropped off," she said. "I know how to use the subway." "I know. I'm trying to help by confusing me, by keeping you on schedule." She stepped closer. Not enough to touch me. Enough to make my heartbeat nosy. "You're frowning," she said. "You're unsettling. You'll adjust." That sentence bothered me for reasons I could not name. Outside, the SUV was waiting again. I slid into the back seat, refusing to be impressed by heated seats. I was impressed immediately. Valentina joined me, scrolling through messages. "How many cars do you own?" I asked. "Enough." That answer was irritating. It was meant to be. "Do Do you always speak like a villain? Only when I'm relaxed? The city blurred past the tinted windows. I stole glances at her when she wasn't looking. The watch, the rings, the scar just under her wrist, thin and pale. Interesting. Dangerous women always had little clues. I wanted to ask about it. I valued living. When we pulled up outside my store, I reached for the handle. Thank you, I said. You're welcome. I paused. Then, because my mouth enjoys risk, I added, try not to reorganize my life while I'm clocked in. She met my eyes. No promises. That should have warned me. It did. I ignored it. Inside the beauty store, chaos was already in progress. 2 customers argued over a sale sign. Someone had broken a lipstick tester. A child was licking a display mirror. Retail was a lawless nation. I tied on my apron and went to the register. My coworker Mia spotted me immediately. Girl, she whispered. Where have you been? Breakfast. With who? A problem. She blinked. Extremely rich, suspiciously. Then respect yourself and continue. I was about to answer when Chad's voice cut across the store. Tammy. My spine reacted before my brain. He stormed toward the register, clutching a clipboard like it gave authority. You're late by 7 minutes. You're scheduled at 9. It's 9:07. That is how numbers work. He stared. I smiled pleasantly. I survived through sarcasm and facial control. We need professionalism, he snapped. We need staffing, I replied. Mia turned away quickly to hide laughter. Chad leaned closer. You always have an attitude. You always notice. He opened his mouth, then stopped. His phone rang. He glanced at the screen and went pale, actually pale, like his soul had seen weather. He answered immediately. Yes. Silence. Yes, of course. More silence. Then, no, I understand. He lowered the phone slowly, looked at me, looked around the store, then walked straight to the manager's office without another word. Mia blinked. What was that? I frowned. Maybe Karma has caller ID. 10 minutes later, Chad came back carrying a cardboard box. Desk plant. Stapler. Family photo. The universal symbols of humiliation. Everyone watched. He avoided eye contact with all of us. Our regional manager, Mr. Harris, appeared from the back with the smile people use during corporate murder. Team, he announced. Chad has decided to pursue another opportunity. Nobody said anything. We were trying to respect the dead. Chad passed me on the way out. For 2 beautiful seconds, I thought he might apologize. Instead, he muttered, Watch yourself, sir. You are unemployed. Read the room. The automatic doors opened. He left. The entire store went silent. Then Mia screamed. Customers clapped. One lady yelled, About time! I nearly cried from joy. No cap, freedom looked good under fluorescent lighting. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I already knew. I opened it. One less headache. I stared at the screen, then slowly looked up toward the front windows. Across the street, parked beside a black sedan, stood 2 men in dark coats. Still. Watching. Not obvious enough for normal people to notice. Too obvious for me to ignore. One of them lifted a hand slightly. Not a wave. Acknowledgement. My knees considered retirement. Mia leaned beside me. What are you looking at? Consequences, I whispered. What? Nothing? I typed back under the register. Did you get my manager fired? Reply came instantly. He fired himself. I only clarified his options. I inhaled sharply. That was somehow worse. Another message followed. You're welcome. I typed, This is insane behavior. She replied, And yet, you're smiling. I touched my face. I was. I hated that. I typed again. Are those men outside yours? She replied. Do you feel safer knowing they are? I looked back through the window. The men were gone. The sedan too. Like they had never been there. My stomach flipped. Not fear exactly. Something more complicated. Interest mixed with concern. Curiosity mixed with poor judgment. Mia snapped her fingers in front of my face. Earth to Tammy. Why do you look like you joined a secret society? I might have. Hot people involved. Unfortunately. She nodded. Stay hydrated. The rest of my shift passed in a blur. Customers complained. Music looped. Someone knocked over nail polish. But underneath all of it, I could feel something had shifted. My boring little life had cracked open. There was before, and there was now. When I got off work that evening, I stepped outside and found a black umbrella waiting by the curb. No rain. Attached was a small card. Dinner, 8 p.m., no signature, no address, just confidence. I looked up at the sky, then at the umbrella, then at my own reflection in the store window. No cap, I muttered. This woman is becoming a lifestyle problem. I got home from work, threw my bag on the floor, and stared at the black umbrella like it had personally offended me. Dinner. No address, no signature, no explanation, just vibes and intimidation. I picked up the card again, hoping more information would magically appear if I looked annoyed enough. Nothing. Jay was already in my kitchen area. By kitchen area, I mean the 3 feet of space beside my bed where my microwave lived. He held up my cereal box. Can I eat this? You already opened it. Then why ask questions now? I ignored him and handed over the card. He read it once, then gasped so loudly I almost charged him rent. Oh, she's insane. She's controlling. She's romantic. She's terrifying. She's rich. We both got quiet. Because that last part mattered. Jay looked at me carefully. So, what are we wearing? We? Yes. I'm helping you get ready. You're not coming, I know. But spiritually? I'll be there. I dropped onto my bed. I'm not going. Jay stared at me. Tammy, be serious. I am serious. You are broke. That felt targeted. He sat beside me. Listen, best case scenario, free food, expensive lighting, hot woman. Worst case scenario, I get kidnapped. You always focus on negativity. I covered my face with a pillow. He snatched it away immediately. Also, he added, if you don't go, you'll sit here all night wondering what would have happened. That man knew me too well. Curiosity had always been my toxic trait. By 7:15, Jay had turned my apartment into a crisis glam station. Clothes on the bed, shoes on the floor, makeup everywhere, my patience missing. This dress, he said, holding up something black and fitted. I can't breathe in that. Beauty requires sacrifice. I'm choosing oxygen. We finally settled on dark jeans, heels I regretted instantly, and a silk blouse I forgot I owned. Jay stepped back and looked emotional. She's going to lose composure. She doesn't have composure. She has cheekbones and money. Same thing. I did my makeup light, curled my hair, and tried to pretend I wasn't nervous. I failed. My stomach was doing choreography. At exactly 7:52, headlights flashed outside my building. Jay ran to the window. She sent a car. I joined him. Black sedan, driver in suit. Waiting like this happened every day. This is how cults recruit, I whispered. This is how soft life begins, Jay corrected. He walked me downstairs like a proud parent. At the curb, he grabbed my arm dramatically. If I never see you again, clear my search history. You don't even know what that means. I know enough. Then he leaned closer. And if she has a single cousin, remember me. I got into the car before shame could deepen. The inside smelled like leather, money, and emotional damage. The driver said nothing. Not hello. Not good evening. Not buckle up. Just silence and expensive traffic laws. We drove through Mafia City while my mind created 37 possible endings for the night. Half of them involved prison. The other half involved kissing. Neither felt impossible. 20 minutes later, we stopped outside a private hotel entrance. Same hotel from breakfast, of course. Rich people love repetition. Inside, a hostess greeted me by name before I spoke. That was unsettling. She led me upstairs to a private rooftop dining room lit by candles and city lights. And there she was. Valentina Moretti stood near the window with one hand in her pocket, wearing a black suit so tailored it should have had legal protection. Her hair was down tonight. That felt personal. She turned when I entered. Her eyes moved over me slowly. I forgot every prepared insult. You came, she said. You sent transportation. It felt aggressive. It was persuasive. You're very committed to being annoying, and yet you dressed up. I looked down at myself, then back at her. You're not allowed to win every conversation. I rarely lose them. That should have irritated me. Instead, I smiled. Dangerous sign. Dinner was already set. Pasta, steak, wine, desserts I couldn't pronounce. I sat carefully. If this meal ends with me joining a criminal organization, I want it noted that I came for carbs. Valentina sat across from me. You talk a lot when nervous. You observe too much when creepy she poured wine into my glass. I had your job investigated. I froze with the fork halfway up. Excuse me? Your store underpays staff? That is true. Your former manager had 3 HR complaints. That is also true. He won't be managing again. I slowly lowered the fork. Did you ruin a man's career before appetizers? He ruined his own career. I accelerated timing. I stared at her. Then I took a bite of pasta. Because morals are easier on a full stomach. This is unbelievable, I said. No. It's handmade. I hate how funny that was. For the next 20 minutes, we argued the way people flirt before admitting it. She asked why I worked somewhere that miserable. I asked why she acted like a Bond villain with skincare. She asked what I actually wanted from life. I said enough money to stop checking prices before buying cheese. She almost laughed. Almost. Then she leaned back and studied me. What would you do if money stopped being a problem? The question hit harder than expected. Nobody had asked me that in years. I'd open my own little beauty studio, I said quietly. Somewhere warm, good music, honest prices. Nobody yelling. She nodded once like she was filing it away. That worried me. Don't start buying buildings, I said. No promises. I pointed at her. See? You say things that sound romantic and threatening at the same time. It saves time. Halfway through dinner, a man in a navy suit approached the table. Older, confident, clearly rich enough to be annoying. He smiled at Valentina. Didn't know you were in the city. I was enjoying that fact, she replied. Oof, he looked at me. And who's this? Before I could answer, Valentina said calmly, She's with me. The man lifted his brows. Serious? Valentina's eyes sharpened. Do you need clarification? That man left so fast I almost respected it. I turned to her slowly. She's with me. It was efficient. It was possessive. It was accurate. My heart behaved stupidly. I sipped water to punish it. If you're enjoying this mess, like and subscribe because I hadn't even gotten confused yet. Dessert arrived. Chocolate something. Expensive something. I was eating happily when Valentina reached across the table and brushed a crumb from the corner of my mouth with her thumb. Everything inside me shut down. My brain disconnected. My rent, my past, my blood type, gone. She looked at me like nothing happened. I stared back like everything had. Then someone knocked on the door. I hated them immediately. One of her bodyguards stepped in and said quietly, There's an issue downstairs. Valentina stood. The softness vanished. Her face went cold in 1 second. It was honestly terrifying. She looked at me. Stay here. What issue? Business that always sounds illegal. It often is. Then she walked out. I sat alone in candlelight trying to process the fact that one woman could be elegant, dangerous, rich, rude, and fine at the same time. 5 minutes later, I got curious. That was mistake number 4 this week. I stepped into the hallway and looked over the balcony. Downstairs, 2 men were on their knees. Valentina stood in front of them, calm as weather. She adjusted one cufflink, then said something I couldn't hear. Both men started apologizing immediately. One was crying. She hadn't even raised her voice. I stepped back slowly. Okay, so breakfast rich and rooftop rich were one thing. This was fear rich. When she returned upstairs, she fixed her sleeve and sat down like she'd gone to answer a phone call. You left the room, she said. You terrorized people. They were disrespectful. You made a grown man cry. He was emotional. I stared at her for a long second, then asked the only honest question left. What exactly do you do? She met my eyes, then smiled fully for the first time. Bad news. Very bad news. I solve problems, Tammy. And for some reason, I believed her. The ride home was quiet, not peaceful quiet, confused quiet. The kind of quiet where your brain keeps replaying events like it's trying to file a complaint. I sat in the back of Valentina's car, staring out the window while my thoughts fought each other. One side said she was dangerous. The other side said, yes. But did you see her in that suit? Growth is not linear. Valentina sat beside me, scrolling through her phone like she hadn't emotionally destabilized me for 3 straight hours. I looked at her profile from the corner of my eye. Sharp jawline, perfect posture, expressionless. How was she terrifying and elegant at the same time? That felt greedy. When the car stopped outside my building, I reached for the handle immediately. Coward behavior. Tammy? I paused. Whenever she said my name like that, it sounded expensive. I turned back. Yes? She held out a small white box. What's that? Dessert. We already had dessert. You liked this one more. I stared at her. Inside the box was the chocolate pastry from the restaurant. Still perfect. Still offensive. You packed me leftovers? I asked. I planned ahead. That is weirdly thoughtful. That is simply thoughtful. I took the box. Our fingers brushed for half a second. Electricity. Annoying. Good night, she said. You say that like you didn't threaten 2 men an hour ago. They're unrelated. I stepped out before my heart could embarrass me further. Jay was waiting inside my apartment with the lights on, snacks ready, and the expression of a gossip reporter who had finally gotten the interview. He stood up so fast he nearly spilled soda. Well, I dropped the pastry box on the table. She's insane. That tells me nothing. She's rich, terrifying, rude, calm, and somehow attractive in a way that feels disrespectful. Jay clasped his hands dramatically. Oh, you're done for. I am not. You just described her like poetry. I described a threat. He opened the pastry box. Oh my God. Is this from Aurelia House? I blinked. You know this place? Tammy, celebrities cry there. He took one bite and got emotional. She bought you elite sadness cake. I snatched it back. Focus. Then I told him everything. The rooftop dinner. The rich man she humbled. The 2 men downstairs. The crying. The cufflink adjustment. Jay listened in total silence, for once in his dramatic life. When I finished, he whispered, She's in the Mafia. I laughed, then stopped laughing, then laughed again, then stopped. You think? Tammy, nobody says I solve problems in a calm voice unless they own warehouses. I hated how correct that sounded. I got ready for bed, trying to act normal. I washed my face, brushed my teeth, moisturized through fear. Then my phone buzzed. It was Valentina. She wanted to know if I enjoyed Aurelia House. I texted back, telling her she made men cry before dessert. Her answer came immediately. They were rude before dessert. I hated that I smiled. Another message came through. She told me to eat the pastry before midnight because the texture would change. Who texts like that? A criminal chef? I asked if she monitored food this closely with everyone. Her answer was immediate. Only yours? I stared at the screen longer than necessary. Then I put the phone face down. This is how people get manipulated, I muttered. Jay yelled from the couch. You're already manipulated. I ignored him and went to sleep. The next morning started badly, which was normal. My alarm didn't ring. My coffee machine made a sound like it was dying. And when I got downstairs, my landlord was standing outside the building, waiting for me. Mr. Donnelly usually looked angry by profession. Today, he looked nervous. That was new. Tammy, he called. I slowed carefully. Whenever a landlord smiled first, something evil followed. Yes? He straightened his jacket. I just wanted to apologize if I've seemed aggressive. I blinked. This was already unnatural. Regarding rent, he continued, please know there's no rush. No rush. This man once emailed me at 6:03 in the morning. What happened to you? I asked. He laughed weakly. Nothing happened. A black SUV rolled slowly past the street corner. Mr. Donnelly immediately stopped laughing. Interesting. He cleared his throat. Also, if anything in the apartment needs fixing, just let me know. My sink had been broken for 4 months. Really? Immediately. I narrowed my eyes. Did Valentina talk to you? His face changed so fast it deserved an award. I don't know who that is. Liar. Professional liar. I smiled sweetly. Have a blessed day. I walked off before he could sweat on me further. At work, Mia was already waiting with gossip energy. You look suspiciously moisturized, she said. I had an eventful night. Was it romantic? Legally unclear. Before I could say more, our assistant manager Kyle rushed over. Tammy, can you come to the office? I froze. Why? He shrugged. No idea, never good words. I followed him to the office, preparing mentally for unemployment. Instead, I found a giant bouquet of white roses on the desk. Huge, expensive, disrespectfully fresh. Attached was a card. For surviving retail, from V. Mia screamed from the doorway. Oh, rich lesbian activity. Kyle looked confused. I looked terrified. This woman has boundaries issues. Mia grabbed the card. 5. Mysterious. Strong. Moisturized? I snatched it back. My phone buzzed again. It was Valentina. I told her the flowers were excessive. Her reply came so fast, it was annoying. I can be more excessive. My stomach flipped. Rude. I asked her not to send anything else to my job. Her next message was short. Too late. I looked up. 2 men entered carrying a brand new espresso machine. For the break room, with a ribbon, the entire store went silent. Mia grabbed my arm so hard I saw ancestors. Tammy, what? Who are you dating? I don't know. Kyle stared at the machine. Is this yours? No, I said honestly. It's our trauma now. The men set it down and left without a word. Customers started recording. Mia was shaking. This is the best thing that has ever happened to me. My phone buzzed once more. Valentina had texted that now my coworkers could stop drinking sadness. I typed back that she could not keep solving problems with money. Her answer came instantly. Would you prefer violence? I paused. Then told her that was not the alternative I expected. Her final reply came a second later. Get used to disappointment. I laughed before I could stop myself. This was getting bad. Very bad. Because somewhere between the flowers, the landlord apology, and the espresso machine, I had started looking forward to her messages. And that was how trouble really begins. By the time I got home that evening, I had reached a dangerous emotional place. I was smiling at text messages. This was not who I was. I used to ignore people peacefully. Now one rich menace typed 3 words and my whole mood shifted. I hated that for me. Jay was on my couch again, wearing my robe, eating noodles I bought with my own suffering. You look happy, he said. I look tired. You look moisturized and confused. That is rude and accurate. He pointed chopsticks at me. You like her. I fear her. Same neighborhood. I dropped my bag and sat down. Why are you here? Support. You're using my Wi-Fi. Support can be layered. My phone buzzed. Jay dove for it like a trained animal. I snatched it first. Too slow. It was Valentina. I opened the message. Tomorrow, dinner, 7 p.m., no greeting, no punctuation, just instructions and expensive confidence. Jay gasped. She commands in complete sentences. That's hot. It's controlling. It's organized. I typed back before wisdom could intervene. No. Jay clutched his chest. You said no? Yes. You're stronger than me. Her reply came almost instantly. You'll change your mind. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw rent. I typed back that confidence like hers should be taxed. Another reply appeared. We're blue. I stared at the screen. She's irritating, I said. Jay looked delighted. She knows you'll go. I'm not going. He nodded slowly. Of course. The next day at work, I was still not going. At 10 a.m., I was not going. At noon, I was not going while eating a salad someone mysteriously had delivered to me. At 2 p.m., I was still not going while drinking the iced coffee that arrived with it. At 4 p.m., I was not going in noticeably better mood. Mia leaned over the counter. So, what color blue are you wearing tonight? I froze. How do you know about blue? She pointed behind me. I turned. A garment bag sat on the staff room chair. Attached was a note. Since stubbornness is not a fashion choice. I closed my eyes. This woman is a public disturbance. Mia opened the bag and screamed. Inside was a blue dress so elegant it looked like debt. Kyle walked in, saw it, and backed out silently. That man thought we were summoning spirits. Mia whispered. I grabbed the dress. I'm sending this back. How? Mia asked. Valid question. There was no sender information, just certainty. I brought the dress home anyway. For evidence. Jay was already waiting. Again. Sometimes I wondered if he paid rent elsewhere just for sport. When he saw the dress, he grabbed his chest. She's insane. She's manipulative. She has taste. She has surveillance. We argued for 20 minutes. I said I was not going. Jay said I had already mentally gone. I said that was disrespectful. He said what was disrespectful was lying in front of mirrors. At 6:32 p.m., I was in the blue dress, hair done, makeup soft, perfume on, still claiming I was not going. Growth takes time. At exactly 6:45, a black car waited outside my building. Jay walked me downstairs like a wedding planner. If she has one emotionally unavailable cousin, he said, remember who stood by you? You stood by free entertainment. Friendship wears many faces. I got into the car. This time I recognized the driver, still silent, still built like he folded steel recreationally. We pulled up to a private townhouse on the Upper East Side. Tall gates, stone steps, the kind of building that made student loans feel personal. Inside, candles glowed softly through a long dining room. Music played somewhere unseen. And Valentina stood near the fireplace in a black suit, one hand in her pocket, looking like the final boss of self-control. Her eyes lifted to me, then slowly moved down and back up again. I forgot language briefly. Blue is the right decision, she said. You are deeply annoying. You came anyway. I came to return your manipulative dress. You may return it after dessert. She stepped closer. Too close. Close enough for me to notice her perfume smelled expensive and emotionally unavailable. You look beautiful, Tammy. That should not have affected me the way it did. I cleared my throat. You weaponize compliments. I use what works. Dinner was served in courses I could not pronounce but respected immediately. We argued between bites. I told her normal people asked before sending clothing. She told me normal people did not fascinate her. I nearly inhaled sparkling water. At one point she asked, why do you resist everything kind? The question annoyed me because it landed. I don't resist kindness, I said. You resist receiving it. I frowned. That sounded like therapy. It was observation. Funny how I trusted struggle more easily than help. That thought sat ugly in my chest. Sometimes surviving alone becomes such a habit. Care feels suspicious. I changed the subject immediately. So what exactly do you do? I solve problems. You keep saying that like it's a LinkedIn title. It is not. Is it crime? It is efficient. That is not an answer. It was enough of one. I hated when she did that calm mystery nonsense. Halfway through dinner, she placed a small velvet box beside my plate. I stared at it. No, you haven't opened it. Still no. It's not jewelry. That somehow worries me more. I opened it carefully. Inside was a key. Just one sleek silver key. What is this? A studio space downtown? I blinked. What? You said you wanted your own beauty studio. My heart stopped, restarted, then filed a complaint. You bought me a building, a floor. Valentina, you're loud when emotional. I pushed the box back. I can't accept this. Why? Because this is insane behavior. It's practical. It's billionaire nonsense. It's support. I stared at her, then said quietly, you can't just buy your way into people's lives. For the first time, she went still. Not cold. Still. Then she said, softer than usual, I know. The room changed. Something real had slipped out. I looked away first. If you're enjoying this chaos, like and subscribe, because this was the exact moment I realized she wasn't just dangerous. She was lonely. Dessert arrived and saved us both. Chocolate tart. Fruit. Silence. Then she spoke again. I don't want ownership, Tammy. I looked up. Then what do you want? Her eyes held mine. Access? My pulse lost professionalism. Before I could answer, I noticed a crumb near the corner of her mouth. Without thinking, I reached across the table and brushed it away with my thumb. We both froze. My hand was still near her face. Her gaze dropped to my lips. Mine dropped to hers. The room went quiet in that dangerous way. She stood slowly, walked around the table, stopped directly in front of me. One hand rested lightly on the back of my chair. The other touched my chin. "Still talking?" she asked softly. "No," I whispered. I was lying. She leaned in. My heart was sprinting. Then the front door slammed downstairs. We both looked away instantly. I hated whoever entered on principle. A bodyguard appeared in the doorway. "Ma'am, we have a situation." Valentina's face changed in 1 second. Warmth gone. Ice returned. She looked at me. "Stay here." That sentence never comforts me. Then she walked out, and no cap. I was starting to realize the most dangerous thing in that house might not be her enemies. It might be me liking her. I sat alone in Valentina's dining room for exactly 40 seconds before curiosity started acting up. To be fair, curiosity had been ruining my life all week. The house was suddenly quiet. Too quiet. The soft piano music still played somewhere in the background, but now it sounded suspicious. I looked toward the doorway where Valentina had disappeared, then toward the staircase, then back at my dessert. Priorities matter. I took another bite of chocolate tart while thinking. She had people, armed people, silent people, well-dressed people who appeared from nowhere and spoke like human security systems. That alone should have concerned me more than it did. Instead, I was mostly annoyed. Because she had almost kissed me. Do you understand suffering? I was one heartbeat away from making a terrible romantic decision, and somebody downstairs decided to create an interruption. Rude. Very rude. I stood up and paced by the windows. The city lights stretched below like everyone else was having a simpler evening. I checked my phone. 3 messages from Jay. "Are you alive? Did she kiss you? If yes, rate it honestly." I texted back that he was spiritually unserious. He replied instantly. So that's a no. I hated him a little. 5 minutes later, I heard voices downstairs. Low, sharp, fast, then silence, then footsteps. I straightened immediately and pretended I had not been considering eavesdropping. Valentina walked back in first. Calm, collected, not a hair out of place. If I hadn't watched her leave, I would have assumed she had simply gone to answer an email. Behind her came one of the bodyguards. Tall, blonde, face made entirely of professionalism. "It's handled," the woman said. "Good," Valentina replied. The bodyguard nodded once and left. I stared. That was fake calm. Valentina unbuttoned one cuff slowly. "What does that mean?" "It means something definitely happened, and now you're acting like it didn't." She looked at me for a moment. "You notice too much. I survive by pattern recognition." She moved back to the table and lifted her wine glass. "Nothing you need to worry about." That sentence has never helped anyone. It helps me. I crossed my arms. "Were you threatened?" "No, were you threatening?" She took a sip. "Yes." I stared. Then, against my better judgment, I laughed. "This is not normal. You say that often because you keep earning it." She sat across from me again. The room still felt changed. Not scary exactly, just charged. I noticed a small cut on one of her knuckles. Fresh. Tiny. Still enough to bother me. I pointed. "You're bleeding." She glanced down once. "It's nothing. That is blood. It's a dramatic amount of blood for a very small injury." I reached for a napkin. "Give me your hand." One brow lifted. "Excuse me?" "Don't make this weird. Give me your hand." "It became weird when you ordered me." "Valentina." She held out her hand. I took it. Warm skin. Long fingers. A pulse that was annoyingly steady. I dabbed the cut gently. She watched me the entire time, silently, which was distracting. "Do you always stare at people while they help you?" I asked. "Only the interesting ones?" I nearly rolled my eyes into another dimension. "You flirt during stressful moments?" I multitask. I finished cleaning the cut and let go too quickly. My body was developing opinions I had not approved. "Thank you," she said. "You're welcome." Then I pointed at her again. "But if you die from whatever rich, mysterious nonsense this is, I'm not attending some dramatic funeral. You'd look beautiful in black. That is not the point." A real smile almost happened. Almost. My phone buzzed. Jay again. I answered immediately. "Why?" Do you sound breathless? I'm irritated. Same voice. I hate you? Did she kiss you yet? No. Then why are you still there? I looked at Valentina. She was watching me over the rim of her glass, sharp eyes, unreadable face, because leaving had not crossed my mind once. I hated that realization. I have to go, I told Jay. You don't have to do anything except update me? I hung up. Valentina tilted her head slightly. He's persistent. He's unemployed. Useful combination. I stood and reached for my bag. I should leave. You should stay. That sounded less like a suggestion and more like manipulation. It was both. I looked around the room. Candles. Soft lighting. Her. Everything about this place felt designed to lower resistance. You know this entire house is suspiciously seductive, right? It's just furniture. It's manipulative furniture. She stood too. Now we were close again. Too close. Close enough for me to notice her loosened tie. Close enough to smell expensive perfume and questionable intentions. You're nervous, she said. You're standing near me, yes. That was not a defense. It was an explanation. I hate when she wins by being calm. She reached up and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Tiny gesture, massive consequences. Tammy, she said softly. There should be laws against the way she said my name. Yes, you ask many questions. It's called intelligence. It's called stalling. Before I could reply, she touched my chin lightly and tilted my face upward. My heartbeat lost structure. You talk too much, she murmured. Then stop listening. Her eyes dropped to my mouth. Mine betrayed me and did the same. She leaned in, slowly. No interruptions, no bodyguards, no dramatic timing. My phone rang, loudly, violently. I closed my eyes. I hate technology. She stepped back. Answer it. No, it may be important. It's Jay. That sounds unimportant. I laughed despite myself and answered. What? Jay was yelling. Tammy, turn on the news right now. Why? Because I think your rich girlfriend is on it. I looked at Valentina slowly. She looked mildly annoyed. That was not denial. I grabbed the remote and turned on the television across the room. A news anchor appeared beside footage of police cars flashing lights in a warehouse surrounded by agents. Then the headline appeared. Federal raid connected to Moretti crime family network. I froze. The room went silent. I turned slowly toward Valentina. She calmly adjusted her cufflink. No panic, no denial, no surprise. My mouth opened, closed, opened again. Crime family? The media enjoys dramatic language, she said. I took a step back. Are you in the Mafia? She looked at me for a long moment, then said, very calmly, depends who's asking. I stared at her. Every strange thing from this week replayed instantly. The bodyguards. The fear people had around her. My landlord suddenly becoming respectful. My boss disappearing. The men downstairs apologizing like their lives depended on tone. Oh my God. Oh my God, that is a common first reaction, she said. You're serious? Yes, you're actually Mafia? I dislike labels. You run crime? I run several things. I backed up another step. She noticed immediately. Something unreadable moved in her eyes. Tammy, no, don't Tammy me. I have never lied to you. You also never mentioned organized crime. You never asked directly. That is manipulative lawyer logic. For the first time all night, I was genuinely scared. Not because she moved. Not because she threatened me. Because she stayed calm. People who remain calm inside chaos are either healed or dangerous. And standing there in candlelight, looking unfairly beautiful beside breaking news, Valentina Moretti looked very dangerous indeed. I stared at Valentina Moretti like she had personally offended reality. She stood beside the television while the news replayed footage of raids, flashing lights, and the words crime family across the bottom of the screen. And somehow she still looked composed. Hair perfect, suit perfect, face calm. Meanwhile, my nervous system had packed its bags. You're Mafia, I said again, because apparently repetition was all I had left. I dislike labels, she replied. You dislike prison too? That depends on decor. I blinked. This woman could not be serious for even one emergency. I grabbed my bag from the chair. I'm leaving. It's late. I don't care. There are reporters outside. I care slightly. There are also people who would like information from you. I froze. What people? The kind who ask rudely. My stomach dropped. She crossed the room slowly. Not threatening, not rushed, just steady. Tammy, if you leave angry, you leave vulnerable. I'd rather be vulnerable than kidnapped politely. You are not kidnapped. You had bodyguards bring me here. You got into the car twice. That was disrespectfully true. I hated facts when they were used against me. I walked toward the doorway anyway. Immediately, one of the bodyguards appeared from nowhere. I nearly screamed. How did these people move like expensive ghosts? Valentina didn't even look surprised. Outside entrance is crowded, the bodyguard said. Media and 2 unknown vehicles. I turned slowly toward Valentina. You attract chaos? You follow me into it. That should not have sounded romantic. I hated this house. Valentina looked at the bodyguard. Use the private route in an hour. The woman nodded and disappeared again like rent money. I looked around. Nope, I don't like any of this. Sit down. No. Tammy, no. She paused. Then walked to the dining table, picked up the chocolate tart plate, and took my fork. Sit down and I'll share dessert. I stared at her. That is manipulation. It is effective manipulation. I sat. Growth is complicated. She slid the plate toward me. I took one bite out of principle. Then another. Then remembered I was angry. This changes nothing. I know. Silence settled between us for a moment, the kind that actually had weight. I looked at her properly now. Not just beautiful rich woman, not just terrifying woman, something more difficult, a person who lived in a world I did not understand, and for some reason wanted me in it. That was the part bothering me most. Why me? I asked quietly. She met my eyes. Because I like you, I laughed once. Short, disbelieving. You know me for 5 minutes. I know enough. You know I'm nosy, yes. Stubborn, yes. Suspicious, yes. Occasionally rude, frequently. I folded my arms. And this is attractive to you. Very. That answer landed harder than expected. I looked away first. Cowardice in silk surroundings. She moved to the chair across from me and sat down. No contracts, she said. Good, because if paperwork comes out, I'm calling Jay. No contracts, no ownership, no cages. That last one was concerningly specific. She ignored that. I am offering an arrangement. There it is, I muttered. Villain language. It is practical language. It sounds like you own islands. I do. I stared. Was that a joke? She gave me nothing. That was worse. I set my fork down. What kind of arrangement? She rested one hand on the table. Calm, elegant, dangerous. I take care of things that trouble you. That sentence alone should be illegal. You spend time with me. That sounds suspiciously like dating. It can... I narrowed my eyes. And what do I get? She looked almost amused. Tammy, you've already received groceries, rent relief, flowers, and an espresso machine? That was terrorism with benefits. Something close to a smile touched her mouth. Then she continued. You get honesty, safety, support, I swallowed. And what do you get? That was rude to my heartbeat. I stood up and paced once, because sitting felt too vulnerable. This is insane. It is uncommon. It is rich people nonsense. It is direct. I pointed at her. Normal people flirt. I am flirting. No, this is strategy. Both can happen. Annoyingly true. I said again. Okay. Say I entertain this nonsense. What are your ridiculous billionaire rules? She answered immediately. First, stop dating idiots. I blinked. That felt personal. It was based on evidence. Rude. Second, eat breakfast? I frowned. Why? You skip meals. You monitor me too much. You neglect yourself too casually. I opened my mouth, closed it, hated that she was right. Third, she continued, let me spoil you occasionally? I laughed. Occasionally? Your version of occasional includes appliances. It can be adjusted. Good. Because if a yacht appears, I'm calling the police. Noted. Was that sarcasm? Yes, that almost made me proud. She was learning. Fourth, she said, voice quieter now. Don't lie to me. The room changed a little. That one mattered. I studied her face. For the first time since meeting her, she looked less untouchable, more human, more dangerous somehow. You hate lies? I asked. I hate pretending. That sentence sat between us, heavy and honest. Funny how people wrapped in power can still sound wounded. I looked down at the table. Sometimes the strongest people are just the best at hiding bruises no one can see. I cleared my throat quickly before feelings became visible. So basically, I said, you're recruiting a pet. Her gaze lifted. Slowly, something moved in her expression. Not quite a smile, the ghost of one. I'm offering attention to someone who deserves it. That one hit deeper than I wanted. I stood immediately. Need air. Hate this conversation. You're overwhelmed. I'm gorgeous and processing. She rose too. Fair. We were close again now. Too close. Always too close. She looked down at me. I hated height. I hated cheekbones. I hated controlled women with expensive voices. You don't have to answer tonight, she said. That softness surprised me. I can say no. Yes, you'll accept it. A pause. Then, I'll dislike it gracefully. I laughed despite myself. My phone buzzed. Jay. Of course, I answered. What? Are you alive? Unfortunately, where are you? In a penthouse negotiating with a criminal romantic. He screamed so loudly I had to move the phone. Valentina's eyebrow lifted. Jay lowered his voice dramatically. Tammy? If she asks you to sign anything, read page 3. There is no contract. There are feelings though, right? I looked at Valentina. She was already looking at me. Sharp eyes, unreadable mouth, too much presence for one person. Jay, I said quietly, I'll call you back. I hung up. Valentina stepped closer. What did he say? That you're a red flag in designer shoes? And you? I think he's observant. She reached out and adjusted the sleeve of my blouse. Such a small gesture, such unnecessary impact. You should stay tonight, she said. That sounds dangerous. It is practical? That sounded dangerous again. There are secure rooms upstairs. Secure rooms is another phrase I dislike. You dislike many accurate things, I sighed. Then looked around the giant silent penthouse. Then back at her. If I stay, this is not agreement. I know it's temporary. I know you are exhausting. I know. I pointed toward the stairs. Show me these suspiciously secure rooms. She stepped aside elegantly. After you. And that was how I spent my first night in a mafia boss's penthouse. Not kidnapped. Not dating. Not safe either. Living in Valentina Moretti's penthouse for one night should have taught me caution. It did not. What it taught me was that rich people slept on mattresses designed by angels, owned towels softer than commitment, and had coffee machines smarter than some men I dated. By morning, I was in a dangerous mood. Comfortable. That is how people get trapped. I came downstairs wearing one of the t-shirts I found folded neatly in the guest room closet. White. Expensive. Probably illegal cotton. Valentina was already in the kitchen, reading something on a tablet while drinking espresso like she had found in mornings. She looked up once. That shirt is mine. I assumed as much. It has attitude. It suits you. I hated how quickly compliments from her ruined my balance. I opened the fridge. Everything inside was organized by category, color, and what I can only describe as emotional stability. Do you alphabetize fruit? I asked. No? Then why does this refrigerator look disciplined? She returned to reading. You're loud before breakfast. You're controlling before breakfast. I'm consistent. I grabbed yogurt and sat across from her. The silence wasn't awkward, which was somehow worse. Normal silence between two people means peace. This silence felt like tension wearing perfume. I cleared my throat. So, about last night, you mean the part where you agreed to my rules? I did not agree. You stayed. That is geography, not consent. Something almost became a smile. Almost. I pointed my spoon at her, and I'm still processing the Mafia thing. I know, you said that very calmly. I am calm. That is the problem. She set down the tablet. What would make you less nervous? A time machine. Unavailable, a detailed explanation of your crimes. Also unavailable, I sighed. See? This is why I need boundaries. Then make some that landed harder than expected. People like Valentina said dangerous things casually. I stood. Fine. Boundary number 1. She looked amused already. I'm going home. Denied. That is not how boundaries work. You can go home tonight. Not this morning. Why? There are still people interested in speaking with you. Why does everyone in your life sound like a threat? Because they usually are. I stared, then sat back down. Reasonable fear is still growth. By noon, I was back in my apartment, escorted home by security, which did nothing for my reputation in the building. Mrs. Alvarez from 3 Billion saw me step out of the black SUV and crossed herself. Rude. Jay was waiting inside with 3 pastries and 0 privacy. He looked me up and down dramatically. Oh, she kept you overnight. She gave me a guest room? Sure, she did. Tammy, be serious with someone else. I threw a pillow at him. He caught it and sat beside me. Then his face softened. So, are you okay? That surprised me. Jay joked through everything, but he always knew when to be real. I don't know, I admitted. She scares me. She confuses me. Also fair? She remembers I skipped breakfast. He nodded solemnly. Most dangerous of all. I laughed, despite myself. Then he leaned back. So what now? Now, I said. I remember I'm a grown woman with options. That sentence was brave for someone with no plan. By evening, I had downloaded the dating app again. Jay screamed so loudly the neighbor knocked on the wall. You are addicted to chaos. No, I am reclaiming my independence. You are reclaiming nonsense. I ignored him and started swiping. Mostly trash. One woman's bio said, if you can't communicate, leave me alone. Healthy. Frightening. Another had 7 photos and 6 were with the same dog. Suspicious. Then I matched with Lena. Cute smile. Funny messages. Normal job. No bodyguards, no warehouses, no criminal headlines. Peaceful. We agreed to meet that night. Jay stared at me like I'd announced plans to juggle knives. You're doing this to provoke her. I'm doing this because I'm single. You are spiritually in a situationship. I am spiritually unemployed. Let me heal. I got dressed in jeans, boots, and a leather jacket. Nothing dramatic. Nothing blue. No one was choosing my clothes tonight. As I left, Jay grabbed my wrist. Tammy, what? If black SUVs appear, I'm saying I warned you, noted. Lena turned out to be lovely. We met at a small wine bar downtown with candles, good music, and menus that used too many adjectives. She was funny. Easy to talk to. Beautiful in a warm, human way. No icy stare, no dangerous posture, no cufflinks, healthy. We laughed about bad dates, shared fries, roasted people who took gym selfies seriously. For the first time all week, I felt normal. Then my phone buzzed. I didn't need to look. I knew. Still, I looked. It was Valentina. One message. Where are you? I locked my phone immediately. Lena noticed. Everything okay? Yes, I said too fast. Spam. Technically, rich emotional intimidation was a kind of spam. We ordered another round. I tried to focus. Lena was telling me about a coworker who accidentally sent a company-wide email titled, Help. I laughed. Then my phone buzzed again. I ignored it. Buzzed again. Ignored it harder. Buzzed a third time. Lena smiled carefully. You can check it. No? That intense? You have no idea. I opened the messages. First, where are you? Second, answer me. Third, are you safe? I paused. That last one hit differently. I typed back.
I'm fine. Her reply came instantly. Location.
Absolutely not. I locked the phone again. Lena raised a brow. Worse, current, complicated, that bad, that expensive. She laughed. I liked her laugh. I also liked not being interrogated by organized wealth. When we left the bar, the city air was cold and sharp. Lena and I stood outside under the awning. I had fun, she said. Me too. Can I see you again? I opened my mouth. Then headlights washed over the street. Black cars. 2 of them. My stomach dropped so fast it deserved applause. The first car stopped hard at the curb. The second blocked the corner. Lena stepped back. "What is happening?" "A boundary issue," I said weakly. Before I could move, 2 men came out of the alley across the street. Dark jackets, quick steps, focused eyes, not drunk, not random, wrong energy entirely. They were coming toward us. Then everything happened at once. Car doors opened. Valentina's security moved faster than thought. 1 man was pinned to the hood. The other disappeared behind the second vehicle with a sound I chose not to investigate. Lena stared at me. "Tammy, who are you?" Honestly, great question. The back door of the last car opened. Valentina stepped out wearing a long black coat, hair pulled back, expression carved from winter. She looked at Lena once, then at me. Something unreadable moved in her eyes. Anger, relief.
Maybe both. She walked closer until she stood in front of me. The street had gone silent. Even traffic seemed nosy.
I said, she said calmly, "Stop dating idiots." And that is where I leave you tonight. I know. Don't look at me like that. Listen, when I started telling you this story, I genuinely did not think it would hit the way it did. I thought I was just giving you a gist, a little tea, a Tuesday situation gone wrong. But somewhere between the wrong number and the white roses and a woman who showed up at my door without guards or gifts or anything except honesty, I felt something too. And I hope you did. I hope you laughed at Tammy being dramatic in borrowed pajamas. I hope this story reminded you that small kindness echoes, that boundaries are not walls, that love should feel safe, and that sometimes the best things in your life start with the worst mistake of your Tuesday. This is where I leave you tonight, my darlings. If you felt something, anything, please don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a good story tonight, and subscribe to this channel because I promise you, you will not regret it. We are building something here together, and your support is what moves us forward. Also, I need to know your favorite moment in the comments. Tell me everything. I read every single comment. And for those already asking, part 2 is coming. Because Tammy and Valentina's story doesn't end here. It gets bigger, messier, more beautiful. Until next time, my darlings, take care of yourselves. Eat breakfast. And please, stop dating idiots. See you in part 2.